Hey, Swarnim here. In this video, I'm going to explain why ABO versus CBO is bullshit and what you actually should be doing. This is a really key point you need to know before running any ads on Meta. If you have zero clue on who I am, I'm on a mission to help you stop throwing your money to Zuck and make your ads profitable by building strategies and funnels to help you get to multiple 6 and 7 figures. So let's dive right into it. So here's the uncomfortable truth that most people don't really want to hear. Creative quality determines 70% of 70% or like more of your ad performance than your ad structure. Like rather than just focusing on the account structure of how you structure your account right now after the Android Meta update, like you are gonna make more returns by just creating more ad creatives and just making it more better and just pumping out more volume in ads. So let me even more specific about this. If your ROAS is below 2.5, campaign structure is not a bottleneck. Like it's not simply a bottleneck. Your offer is broken or your creative is weak. This is simply what it means if your ROAS is just below 2.5 or even maybe less than 3 as well. So I see this pattern consistently with the clients that I work with. Like people debate over CBO versus ABO to avoid confronting the real problem that simply is their creative. Their hook either the hook is weak, their value proposition is unclear, or the offer has no market fit whatsoever. So this is the hierarchy that actually matters. So if the campaign structure doesn't matter, what does? Here's the hierarchy of what actually impacts performance. First is the offer strength. Your offer strength is directly proportional to how many people are actually going to buy. Then we move on to creative quality. How good is the creative? How does it make your people stop their scroll to look at your ad? Then we move on to audience section. This will define on the people that you actually target with your ads. Then we move on to data tracking, because if you aren't tracking these things, it won't make any sense, because unless it can be tracked, it can be improved. And then finally we'll move on to the campaign structures. These 5 key things are the actual things that you need to come up before debating over the campaign structure of what actually matters. So these 5 things, just taken in order from step by step, to just offer strength, move to creative quality, then move to audience selection, then finally to data tracking, and then finally you can focus on if your creative campaign. If all of these things are done properly, then finally you could figure out that your campaign structure is a bottleneck, especially after the Android Meta update. These things matter more compared to you just try and figure out if an ABO is better than a CBO campaign. So here's how Meta's algorithm actually works. Now, okay, so people might be thinking but doesn't CBO help Meta optimize better, because you're basically letting Meta decide which campaign to get more spend on. So Meta's algorithm has evolved massively over the few years. It's sophisticated enough now to route budget efficiently, regardless whether you're using a CBO or an ABO campaign. CBO gives Meta full control to allocate budget across ad set based on performance, while ABO gives you manual control over budget per asset. So both works. Like both of these are impeccable and they both work. I'm not going to say CBO doesn't work, you gotta use ABO. No. So winners will win with ABO, losers will lose with both, because the campaign structure was never the problem in the first place. Your campaign structure was never the problem. It always was one of these key things that have been holding you back with your Meta ads performance. And hence, winner will win with CBO, winner will win with ABO, losers will lose with both, because that never really was a problem. The only problem that you had was your creative quality, or even the creative volume. So let's learn when the structure actually comes in place. After you have gone through all of these, that's when we can start thinking about, okay, maybe it's your campaign structure. I'm not saying campaign structure never matters, just let me be clear about it when it does. Campaign structure actually matters at a massive scale. We're talking 50,000 per day budget or more with mature ad accounts that have validated multiple winning creatives. but the vast majority of you watching this video, you are debating completely on the wrong things. Rather than asking, oh, is my campaign structure good? Do I focus on CBO or an ABO more? It's more about, do I have good creatives? It's simply, do I have good creatives? Do I have good creatives that will make users stop scrolling within like the first 2 seconds? Or maybe is my offer good enough for people to actually convert if when you're retargeting them? Or another basic thing would be just if your tracking is well good enough, right? If you don't have like good enough tracking, if the tracking is all over the place, you are not going to be able to optimize any of these, because well, tracking is what matters the most. So after so we came up with like a decision framework to not just completely debate over like CBO versus ABO within our media buyers. That we came up with a framework. Simple. Okay, the framework is split into simple 3 phases. First will be like the testing phase, the second will be the scaling phase, and third will be the just killing the losers, right? So let's start with the phase 1. So in phase 1 we'll be testing with an ABO campaign because it gives more allocation to our budget. It gives more manual allocation to our budget, which helps us determine whether if an ad is working or not. So we start with ABO for testing because we're testing multiple ad sets and multiple ad within those each ad sets. ABO gives us control budget allocation so we can properly validate what's working. So for ABO we are going to be separating budget in like ad set level, where you can actually understand which ad set is working properly, so you can validate what's working and you can move it past phase 1 to move to which would be scaling the ad set. So we will run this test phase until we identify clear winner creatives and that are consistently outperforming everything else. Then once we get out of the testing phase, which will usually be around a month or like 1.5 months, then we'll move on to scaling phase, where in this position we'll actually be scaling the winning ad sets. So once you find a winner from the ABO testing campaign, here's all we do. We duplicate it into 2 separate campaigns. One, the campaign A is a CBO campaign, which we let Meta Optimize get full control over the budget, and campaign B is an ABO, where we'll maintain manual control over our allocation budget. And from these tests, we will create like, there will be a clear winner and a clear loser after like you have tested these 2, and eventually you'll find one which will scale rapidly. That's simply the scaling phase that you can test it out with our decision framework. So we both run these tests side by side for 7 days with exact same winning creatives, same budget, same audience. The only key difference would be campaign structures. So this is one like a key thing that I actually want to point out is you gotta have the same budget, the same creatives, and the only difference is the campaign structure. Because when you have like you were testing ad A and you're testing ad B, if both of these are like different creatives, eventually what we'll find out is maybe one's winning and one's losing, and you can figure out if it's the campaign structure or well one of these. It's simply because you gotta be able to create like a static environment. Let's say you're running a test in this environment. We can just name it E. We're running tests in this environment, and you have a campaigns both there. This is campaign A. Oops, this is campaign B. And if these both campaigns are within the same environment, you will eventually find like a winner. So let's say campaign B, which is our ABO campaign, which is the winner, which you can take it out and you can create more iterations to it, or even scale it further using adding more budget to it as well. And then once we're out of this, we will eventually move on to the phase 3, which will be simply killing the losers. So after 7 days, we look at the data. Whichever campaign gives us higher ROAS and better overall results, that's our winner. That's a simple, even anyone can understand this. We kill the other one immediately, no second guessing, no let me try tweaking it. We commit to the winner and never look back. We will commit to the winner and we'll never look behind it. Yes, sure, we can come back to it for our tasting phase and we can create various variations for it. That's a completely different thing when we're gonna try and coming in with create different variations based on our winning campaigns, but eventually we will just be taking out we'll just be taking out our winning campaign, and we'll be scaling it further. This approach prevents you from wasting money running both indefinitely, where with, let's say, you are spending £50 and you're just giving 25 each, but since you already have a winner, you can actually spend £50 on the actual winner, which will get you higher returns for your ad spend. So you get a clearer answer in 1 week, and then you move on. Just move on with your life, and let us do a thing, and you go make $1 billion or something. So you always follow the 80-20 rule. Okay, so we are going to spend 80% of our time on creative development and 20% on optimization tactics like campaign structure decisions. The 80-20 rule is always like a base model that we always look at. Because 80% of the times, the thing you always got to focus on what moves 80%, when the other is just 20%, which in this case is 80% would be our creatives, and where 20% will be based on like optimizing, such as in this case is campaign structures, right? This is the simple framework that we actually use, and how we actually structure our campaigns based on ABOs and CBOs. So here's the final thing, that what actually determines your performance, because at the end of the day, the only question that actually matters are these: is your hook stopping the scroll? Is the value proposition clear enough in the first 3 seconds? Is your CTA strong enough to drive conversions? That is what determines creative performance. That determines the performance, not whether you click ABO or CBO in your campaign settings. Your creative is either working or it's not. Your offer is either resonates or it doesn't. The campaign structure is just a vehicle, not the engine. So that's it for this video. By the way, if for the love of God you can't seem to crack paid ads funnel, there's a link below in the description which will take you to a calendar link where you can book a call with me for free strategy session. Don't worry, it's not a sales call, so you can leave a card at home. It's just a call where we can tell you how we can help you with the paid ad system. I don't really mind if you click it or not, but if you really need help, it's in the description. If you like the video, there's a button for that as well, so make sure to press it. Comment any video ideas or requests you have, and subscribe if you want more content that helps you engage till the end. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much for sticking around. Cheers.